Talk Podcast. I'm your man Cat. Welcome back, another week. You know what I mean? Got the regulars in here, but we got my man Quells that stopped by. Definitely appreciate it. Got my man Chris that stopped by. You know what I mean? Doing his thing. My man S. Dot in the corner. You know how he do. You know what I mean? Laying low. Mr. Flat Earth just made an appearance. Guys, what's going on? Al, you know what I mean? And of course, the one and only Willie P. AKA Willie Hutch. What's going on with y'all, man? How the weekend been going, y'all? What's good?
Regular stuff. Went, out of my zone, did a little golfing, hit the range.
Yeah.
Shoulders a little short. Thanks to Mr. Flat Earth over here, brought me out the loop, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Different.
Something different, but other than that, we're cooling, man,
Alright, what's going on with you, Flat Earth? We ain't heard from you in a while. What's going on, man?
Cool, man. Just focusing on the old folks at the crib, just trying to do the right thing every day, Always.
Alright, yo, my man, Mr. Pump It Up, No Joe Buttons. What's up, Chris, man?
What's the word, man? Allow me to slide through, man. Get with y'all, man.
Yeah, what you been into lately, Dog? I know you got the thing on IG. You got the fitness thing popping.
I just been staying at it, getting ready for this show, focusing on school, working, busting my ass, trying to turn nothing into something out here,
So, is it diet like super strict right now? Like,
man, listen, you know what? Y'all usually have like cookies and fly stuff, man. This is what I have for a treat, pistachio. That's all we got. Some butt-naked pistachio. I gotta watch it, keep it extra clean on them one time. And these are a treat.
So do you have like your for the week? You have your meals lined up, breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
I just racked up on like 20 things of like ground turkey. Ground turkey for this whole month.
That's what's up. Quells in the building. What's going on with you, Quells?
What's going on? Doing nothing. Doing the same thing every day. Working, trying to maintain. Trying to keep precision training up.
Precision training. So, for people who don't know what precision training is, you are a firearms safety instructor, right?
Yes. That is
so precision training. That's your business.
Yep.
So explain to the people who don't know what precision training is.
So what precision training is I'm a firearms instructor for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the NRA. My goal is to pretty much take a regular average civilian like anybody in this room and turn them...
Like me.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and turn them into someone that is very aware of firearms and the safety habits that come with them, and also be able to treat wounds and different things like that.
Yeah, because it's basically like a crazy time we're going through right now where people are saying we don't need firearms at all, which I could get that point, but you can't just take firearms from the citizens and leave the firearms in these people they put there to protect us, but they're only protecting a certain amount of people, right?
Yep.
They're only protecting the skin that blends in, but everybody else, it's for self.
Yep.
So, how long you been into like the guns and all that?
Since I was born, honestly. My great-grandfather was a hunter. My uncle, unfortunately, he was a gangbanger.
Yeah.
I've played video games, Grand Theft Auto, all that. Listen to music. I've loved guns my whole entire life. I started getting deep into it when I turned 21, and then I got my license at 23. So I've had my license almost 5 years now. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts, unrestricted. But guns have always been a big part of my life, like they are in a lot of people's lives in the U.S. The U.S. is the only country that you can actually go and get a license and be registered to own a firearm to protect yourself and your family. Yeah. And that's, I feel, is a big thing. So I feel like I should share with people. 2 years ago, I woke up one day and I'm like, I'm tired of when I first got my license, I didn't know what I was doing, just like everyone else does. And I was like, where's the guidance at? So I feel like I can guide my African American brothers and sisters, my Spanish people, not even just my own race, but everyone in general, then I can continue to develop a better community with firearms.
Nah, because we need,
That's definitely a round of applause, man.
Because it's crazy because, there's so many of our brothers and sisters that go down for firearms charges, but only if they had the knowledge, like if there's people like you around that's around people from when they children, you know what I'm saying? So, like for myself, for example, I'm the complete opposite of you. Like you say, you was into guns since you was kids. Like my moms didn't even allow me to have like play guns, no cap guns.
Yeah.
Like me and Mark used to have to sneak cap guns in the crib. We'll shoot them off, and she come in the room like, "Yo, what the fuck y'all doing, y'all?" You know what I mean? So it's different.
Yeah.
So I never really had like a passion for firearms, but I have goals in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And with these goals, I'm gonna need protection.
Yep.
And the people that we pay taxes to protect us, I don't even trust.
Yep.
So it's like, you know what, at the end of the day, I have to, that's why I came to you, my man, you know what I'm saying? I got my certificate from him, you know what I'm saying? My aim is lit right now. Now I'm booked, I'm waiting to get my appointment. Well, I already got an appointment, so to get my L and all of that. But what I'm trying to say is, we live in a time where it's like anything can happen, right?
Yeah.
It could be any type of situation.
Exactly.
It's not like the cops, when you call 911, they're gonna be there in less than 30 seconds.
Exactly.
So it's like, what do you do within that time frame that the cops is getting to you and you in a drastic situation? You know what I'm saying? You gotta protect yourself, right?
Exactly.
At the end of the day, right?
Exactly. I always tell people 9 times out of 10 a situation goes down, for instance, right now, right? How many seconds do we have to call 911? How many
Exactly.
seconds do the operator have to figure out where we're at? How many seconds do we have till they get here? A lot, right? You know, we hit someone has the call, but as soon as someone comes in the building, you know, and you're able to, and you train yourself well to protect yourself and your friends that are around you, you solve that situation a lot quicker.
Right.
And you know, it could go from how many people are there right now? 6, 7,
8,
7,
yeah, like
6, 7, 8 people casualty to a 1, and that's the bad guy, not the good guys.
Exactly.
You know,
That's a fact. Okay, but here's the deal though. We live in Boston. We all know Boston is, you know, we know the history of Boston.
Yep.
So my question is, what is it like, the average day for like a black gun owner? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say you in a car with, you know, you leaving the range or something like that. Do you feel any like more afraid than the average gun owner when you get pulled over? Like, how do you handle a situation like that?
So initially, when I first got my license, like I said 5 years ago, I was afraid. Not gonna lie, like, you know, I was like, so in Massachusetts you get 3 types of licenses. You'll have a non-restricted, so you can carry concealed, so no one can see your firearm. Then you'll have targeted hunting, and then you'll have what's called sporting. Targeted hunting means that you can only take your firearm to the range, and you can have it in your house for home protection. Sporting pretty much means the same thing as targeted hunting, is just another fancier way of saying it. So when I got my license, I got unrestricted, so I can carry concealed. So for the first 2 years, I didn't carry because I'm black.
Yeah.
And I was afraid that, you know, if I got pulled over, he can read my name and he pulls me over. As soon as I make a false move to go grab my wallet, I'm shot.
Yeah.
You know, and it scared me for a long, long time.
That shit happens though.
It does.
You can't act like
it does.
that don't
I'm not
happen.
gonna lie. You know, it happens all the time. And I always tell my friends that, you know, when I first started, like I said, I was scared, and then eventually I came to the point where I was like, if it's gonna be my time, it's gonna be my time, regardless if it's a police officer or some random terrorist. You know what I'm saying? So I said, I'm gonna carry no matter what, because I'm there to protect myself and the people around me. So I took that fear of being African American and firearms and put it to the side to protect myself and my family. Because I didn't want to buy a firearm, have it in my head that I could protect myself, and then go to the mall, for instance, with my little sister, and then a terrorist attack happens and she gets shot. Now I'm like, damn, I didn't protect her because I'm black.
Quick question.
I actually had a quick question. So I noticed when you said unrestricted, I have a cousin, he has his license, so I kind of got educated through his knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So he has targeting and sporting. So when he's traveling in the vehicle, he either has to have the gun locked in the glove compartment with either the shells in the middle console or vice versa.
Yep.
With an unrestricted, you can still have it on you, is basically what you're saying.
Exactly.
But to avoid situations, wouldn't you want to still follow the same rules, just in case in a situation where you did get pulled over, you know, you can let the officer know, well, hey, I do have a gun, I am licensed to carry. It's unrestricted, I don't have it on me, it's in the glove compartment.
Exactly. So the biggest thing I always tell everybody with that situation is, like I said, when the police officer pulls you over, there's 2 systems. One is for your registration, for the car and one is for your firearms license. When they run the registration for your vehicle, 9 times out of 10, they don't run to see if you have a firearms license. When they get to the car, they ask you for your license and registration. All I do is give them my license and registration. He doesn't. I try to completely comply. I don't give him an issue because I have my firearm on me, and I don't know if he ran my name or not. If he doesn't ask me, I do not present it or let him know anything. Period. If it's in my glove box, it's a dangerous location because as soon as you open that glove box, if it's not inside of a locked box, the first thing that's gonna pop down is gonna be what? That firearm or that magazine. So the first thing I would say is to tell your cousin to get a lock box, put it under his seat, and change that location.
Yeah, but he's smart. He keeps the registration on there.
Okay, a lot of people.
And I do that too.
Exactly. Yeah. So a lot of people do that. I keep it on my breast pocket, or I'll keep it on my center collar.
Strapped up, baby.
Exactly. So that way, when I'm going, if he asks me, oh, license registration, mine's in my glove box. Pop my glove box, grab my license. Here you go, sir. He walks away. Ask me whatever he needs to ask me, but I never tell him during the situation that I have a gun on me because to me, I have to think of from both perspectives because I've worked in the armed security field. As soon as someone tells you I have a gun, immediately that raises exactly. Even though you're not trying to say, "Oh, hey, I have a gun." Oh, it sounds hostile. Period. He's like, "What do you mean you have a gun? I didn't ask you any questions." So don't ever tell someone exactly. Don't give someone information that they didn't ask for. If he says license registration, bam, have a nice day.
Got it.
He comes back and says, "Hey, Mr. Will, I noticed that in my system you have your license. Are you carrying your firearm?" "Yes, sir, I am." Then go from there. Hopefully, you shouldn't have to deal with any escalations, but still, same thing. Comply. Keep your hands in one motion. Don't try to move too quickly because at the end of the day, I'm not bigging them up and I'm not saying that it's right what they're doing out there, but they want to get home to their family. Period.
I heard one thing too though. Like, let's say you do get pulled over and whatever, they do find the gun. Is it true that they actually have to confiscate it and then make sure that once they run your name that it's actually registered and still active?
No. So you mean like the license itself?
Yeah, like the license itself attached to exactly.
Okay, so pretty much when they run your license, they if you literally right now we can all go and put whoever's name that we know and they'll tell you every single firearm that they have. Right. That's just how Massachusetts is run. So when they run your name, they tell you every single gun they have and they say the serial number. They will confiscate it, possibly if they feel suspicious or you're not following the rule that they have. Because the rule, it has to be inside of a locked case with a lock on it, magazine completely removed, no rounds inside of the magazine. Right. So if they find the rounds in the magazine, then they're going to confiscate it because you're breaking the rule. And then they're gonna do their procedure of,
Okay. See, I have so much questions for you, but
answer them all, man. I'm here.
I think one of them you just answered because I was gonna ask you, what is the procedure? How do you go about being able to get the license to carry? But I think you answered it because you said you was once a security officer, right?
No. So initially, every single town has a different statute of what they want for their citizens to have for their chief. Yeah. So, for instance, Boston chief always gives out targeted hunting, unless you have a federal job. Yeah. Even if you're security, he only gives you employment. The reason why is because Boston is so close. So if you were in a shootout down the street and you pulled your trigger, the bullet would go through so many walls and hit so many people possibly that he doesn't feel that the civilians right away should have carry concealed. Right. So the process I always tell people, and I haven't had it long enough to experience it, is that the way I see it, talking to the chief, because I've talked to him multiple times, is that the first step you should do is get your license, period, point blank. That's a start. Second step is take a class that teaches you how to carry concealed, how to physically use a firearm, and also and then reapply in the next 3 years, because he doesn't want to just give it to every Joe Schmo that's on the street, because we know people, when you get your license, it's such a thrill that you want to show all your friends, and the next thing you know, someone gets shot by accident. So the more people that are educated the right way and learn and take the advancements after that basic pistol class and do something different with it and keep growing together, the more that he will see the difference. Like, okay, people aren't a bunch of numbskulls, and I will start granting carry concealed.
At what age do you think is appropriate to start training someone?
So appropriate. So me and my friend actually had this discussion the other day. His son is actually 3 years old, and I was telling him, like, you know, you shouldn't teach him like how to manipulate a firearm, but you should teach him about firearms. You get what I'm saying? Okay. So like they don't have to physically touch it, but they can watch you clean it. Yeah. They can watch you, you know, keep your finger off the trigger, always point it in a safe direction. Yeah. And then once they get to, you know, 10, 12, 13, whatever age you feel like they're mature and comfortable, then that's when they are, you know, I feel like they should. My sister's turning 13 and my niece just hit 13, so once my sister turns 13, I'm going to take both of them and start teaching them more about firearms.
I asked that question because there's this dude on social media that I follow. His name is Derek Grace. If y'all out there and y'all into, you know, firearms, into just cool people, this is a cool dude. His IG, I think, is Derek Grace too. Now, this dude, you know, when you look at him, you would think he's whatever, if you want to do the whole judging by image. But this guy thinks exactly like me. He's very smart. He basically has this thing called unlearn and relearn, where basically it's encouraging people, all the shit you learned in school, throw that shit away. Because that shit is built to teach you how to work for somebody, how to be a worker. So what he's doing is he's homeschooling his children and he's teaching them the necessities of life, how to use a gun. You know, the history of the United States, how to progress in this country, what you need to do. He's not teaching them gym, phys ed, the bullshit we learned in school. You know, that he's teaching them about finances, you know, debt, all of that shit. So, what I like about him is that people try to come down on him because he was teaching his 3-year-old daughter. He had her on camera cleaning guns, loading guns, shooting guns, and I'm like, that's lit. We need that, especially as black and brown people in this country, because the people that they hire, the people we pay taxes to protect us, aren't protecting us. They're doing the complete opposite. But
that's serving.
Exactly. So like, how y'all feel about like little children being taught to?
It's absolutely necessary, especially on women. There's not, you know, the women gotta be protected in these young. And when a young man as well gets his hands on a firearm and he's taught instinctively and properly how to use it, it doesn't become a toy anymore, it becomes a tool. And at the end of the day, rather than picking it up and, you know, thinking that they Rambo off rip, they're like, okay, this is what I have, this is how I use it properly. Because I know that I have this type of power, I'm a lot more at ease, as opposed to somebody that they first touch it for their first time and they get it and they're like, yo, I'm about to wild out. Like, I can do whatever I want. You know, if you've already been exposed to it, it's not going to be no big deal like that, you know? So that's how I look at it.
So bringing back to the topic, you know, of young kids, you know, I grew up in Milton, which is a predominantly white area. And every kid in my school at the age of, not every kid, but a lot of the kids that I hung out with, they already knew about, you know, they had firearms, they had rifles, because when you turn, I believe, 8 years old, you can get an FID card, which you can purchase rifles in the .22 caliber, which is a very, very small caliber, to learn how to physically shoot. They have youth group shooting. For instance, Braintree Sportsman and Rifle in Braintree, Massachusetts has a youth group where they teach, you know, and you go there and it's predominantly white and Asians. That's it. There's no African Americans, there's no Spanish, because we're taught, stay away from guns, you know, son, stay away from guns, daughter, and they're taught, let me teach you the right way. Let me show you how not to become the street fool that gets a gun and thinks
my question is, how come those resources haven't hit our neighborhoods, and how come this is actually the first time I'm hearing it?
Yep.
And it comes as a shock, and like, well, they have those resources. How did they find out? How come they're not reaching out to this side of town and giving us this education or giving us this knowledge that we can actually go and teach our siblings?
Because if you generally think about it, just like you said, right? Your mother told you not to do it, right? My mom told me not to do it. Your mom probably told you not to touch a gun. Your mom. All of our mothers and fathers said, don't touch them, they're bad. But as soon as a white person was able to, you know, teach their kids, think about it, right? I remember like a year ago, I went skiing for the first time in my life. I'm 27 years old. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be simple, you know, whatever. I get on the slopes, I bust my ass like 15 times.
Yeah.
This little 2-year-old. I didn't even know 2-year-olds can stand up for that long. Started skiing down the hill, making me look like a fool. I'm like, yo, that's how they start. They start predominantly young, and then they work their way up to become that's a lot of the experimental shooters that I watch and learn from are white because they've been doing it since they were young, you know. And we're taught stay away from that. How many black people you know that ski? No black person skis, barely, right? Yeah. You know, just like you said, how many black people golf? Very few. Because if we, you know, we're so used to like, you know, going to work, doing our job, doing our job, that we forget that there's other things in life than vacations, clubs, and going to work. You know, the sports and the activities are what makes us human.
I've heard that when you have a, you know, registered gun, and you know it gives you your serial number. I heard, let's say, you know, something happens out in the street and I was to shoot it, that the shell casing will actually have your serial number on that bullet.
No, that's not true.
That's not true. Okay.
So when you go and you purchase your firearm, the only locations where serial numbers are located are the frame or the receiver, the frame or the slide, depending on what the manufacturer, and sometimes even the barrel, depending on what that manufacturer needs. The ATF recognizes a firearm as the serial number on a frame, receiver, or barrel. They don't put the serial number on the rounds or shells.
That's actually the first thing in our lineup. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk about this rapper who had a bullet for his baby's mom's, her father, and her brother. Yo, it's not even funny, don't even laugh. This is domestic violence we're talking about. But the homie Fab, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's a licensed gun carrier and all that, but he's definitely on camera saying he had a bullet for a couple people. My first question is, what's your first reaction, like your initial reaction to that?
It's just, yo, no lie, it's just music. You can talk all that. I love Fab, like one of the best rappers to do it, but you can talk all that player stuff, all that cool stuff. But if a chick really get in your head and make you mad, like, you gonna act out of character.
Yeah.
And you know, I ain't never did all of that, so I'm shocked. Yeah. I would have never saw it coming, you know, not from Fab.
Yo, Al, I know you had an ill fucking perspective on it the other day.
I lost mad respect for my nigga Fab. Dumb respect, no bullshit. He's like a Nas to me, you know what I mean? He's up there with the lyrics. All of his lyrics mean a lot of shit.
He's a punchline
He's
king.
punchline God, you know what I'm saying? But my man, you can't slip up like this. This is not even a slip up, you know what I mean? From what we heard, it was some shit like he got mad about some little thing about his girl being in LA sometime. So he kind of went, then he went home, you know what I'm saying? Bro, you had time to think about it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You didn't have to go in there wilding out, bro. And if these allegations are actually true, 7 punches to the face, my nigga, a couple teeth out.
Put the stats out there.
Bullet for your mom's.
That's a triple double right there.
Bro, you're wilding right now. You're fabulous, my nigga. You're fabulous. Don't forget that part. You had a plane ride to think about this shit.
My first initial thought is a cool nigga we talking about, bro.
Yeah.
We talking about a cool nigga, you know, swag, coolest nigga in the game. My first, and it may sound fucked up to a lot of viewers and shit, I was just like, what the fuck did she do?
Yeah.
That was my first initial reaction, like, okay, she must have did something to break that nigga down to get him there. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying there was a reason why he did it. Yeah, again, I'm not saying he's right, but there's a reason why he did it. I don't know why, but it went there. Like I said, it's not right, but it happened.
You know, I fuck with you, you kept the same energy, you know what I'm saying? Here's my initial reaction. And you know what's crazy? It sucks that we can't even talk about shit like domestic violence, racism, shit like that without people feeling so sensitive and touchy. So before I even say anything, I just want to say, don't be so fucking sensitive, alright? So, my first reaction, right? So I'm thinking like, cause I told it to my any woman that I love, any girl that I love, I always tell them, you know what I'm saying? Never put your hands on a man unless you expect to feel one. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you expect a fair one, then put your hands on the man. Because me, I would never hit a woman. But not every man's gonna think like me. You know what I'm saying? So, but my fucked up thing about me is I automatically assume most men think like me, right? So I was kind of in the boat with Pesos. I'm like, when I heard the situation, I'm like, damn, this the coolest nigga. And with these accusations, he's seeming like the uncoolest nigga. So, and I even posted this on Facebook. I'm like, yo, she had to have done something really crazy to make the coolest nigga seem uncool. And I got crazy hate. My homegirl had to call me and let me know that I appreciate you. You're a real friend. She's like, yo, listen, you victim blaming. I understand you don't mean it like that. I understand what you mean, but you can't say it like that because people are really victims and they're going to think you victim blame. So I understood that. I say that to say this. I thought, okay, what the fuck did she do? You know what I'm saying? Because I automatically assume that he's like me. He's not going to put his hands on a female, but God forbid I walk into a female like doing some crazy molestation type shit. I can't promise you that I won't put my hands on somebody, anybody, male, female, in that situation. But anything else, I'm not gonna take it to that situation without.
And it's like my nigga Uncle Sis was saying, this wasn't just a regular Thursday morning where the nigga was just like, you know what? We don't punch my bitch in the face 7 times today because this is how I do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
But we don't know that.
We don't.
Like,
We don't.
We don't have any.
We don't have any facts yet.
We don't have any facts. Only thing that we know is that she's missing 2 teeth. You know what I'm saying? Which is really, really hectic. So, like, we don't know. And, like, what my homegirl was telling me, she's like, yo, look, you say he's a cool person off of his public persona, which she's correct. She's absolutely right with. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm like, fuck.
Because we didn't see that with Chris Brown.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up. That's another thing. Reason why I really was like, yo, what the fuck did she do? Because when the Chris Brown shit came out, everybody jumped on Chris Brown. Oh my gosh, he's the worst person in the world. He's the scum of the earth. This, that, and the third. Then like 10, 13 years later, it comes out that he's driving a stick shift and she's wailing on him. Rihanna's actually beating his ass. So it's like, what do? Do you sit there and get your ass beat and risk fucking both of you guys' lives up forever? Or do you defend yourself to try to stop the situation? Like, go ahead.
Real quick, I'm not trying to sound like the goody guy here, but you brake. You hit the brakes. Hard. You hit the brakes hard as shit in the car, and you take shots, right, for 2 seconds.
On the highway?
Bang, bang,
On the
bang,
highway?
hit the brakes, and you get the fuck out.
Yeah.
On the highway.
You know what I'm saying? And save your ass. Because at the end of the day, bro, and this is a little bit of advice to everybody, because we don't want to get the message screwed over here. We don't want to have to defend ourselves against these ladies, bro, because we're always going to lose when we do that shit. Alright? Yes, I will defend myself if I'm being attacked, like, with a knife or fucking some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? If my life is really on the line. But, my man, I'm in control of this car. In that Chris Brown situation, you hit the fucking brakes hard as shit. That shit can go 0 to 90 in 2.2. It can hit the 90 to 0 in 2.2 just as much. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got a choice, bro. We all do. And at the end of the day, don't make the choice to hit your lady or hit any of these bitches, no matter what they do, because we got the power at the end of the day to take away every fucking thing that we gave them, niggas, because we gave them all of us. You know what I'm saying? So we have that fucking choice. You know what I'm saying? Just don't, my man, Fab, Chris, y'all niggas could have definitely fucking handled that shit with pulling everything y'all gave and took away, but you gave them so much power by knocking them out, bro. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? Now you're the villain. No matter what they did, you know what I'm saying?
Look, I agree with you on the whole, like, you will become a villain with doing that. And, like, Fab had time to think. But we got to put ourselves in Chris Brown's shoes, right? He was young at the time, probably, like, still a teenager or whatever. And he's driving a stick shift car, probably going 100. I don't know what he's doing. I don't want to make no excuses for the nigga. But if he's on the road and somebody's hitting him in the fucking face, he's not gonna think, what the fuck should I do to make myself the good guy? No, he's thinking, how the fuck do I stop getting hit?
Alright, but if y'all, both of y'all fighting in the car, y'all think you gonna come out alive out of that? Going 100 miles an hour? Think about your life too, though. Fuck dignity.
I agree.
Fuck dignity. You gotta save your life too.
You got
first thing I gotta do. Alright, first thing I gotta do is break. And if she's still wailing on me, there's a knife comes out. Alright, I'm saving my ass. But my nigga, first thing I gotta do is break. You can't just use this as an excuse. I'm going 100 and I gotta I gotta still get to the show though. You know what I'm saying?
I think what you said is the perfect scenario. But that's only for a nigga who had the opportunity to think hindsight. I'm not blaming Chris Brown at all because he's in the situation and he's getting hit. If I'm getting hit, yeah, I'm doing that. And then I'll start and let's fucking talk about this. But if I'm getting hit, I gotta defend myself first and then be a good guy.
Alright, but you know who you got into the car with.
He reacted to the action.
Before the fight happened, you know who you got into the car with, right?
Yeah.
Y'all probably just ended up making love in the bathroom before you got into the fucking car. You know who you got into the car with, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is your lady. Y'all on y'all way. Y'all on y'all way to the award show, right? Some shit like that. Bro, you know who this is, my nigga. She starts hitting you. Come on. These are soft punches. These ain't fucking Kev that just rocked you. This ain't your average punch. These are scratches. This is some shit. She ain't hitting that hard, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? So break. Have that mental stability that men have. You know what I'm saying? Break. Protect my fucking whip, you know what I'm saying? Protect my life, and then fucking handle this chick, you know what I'm saying?
I get it, but niggas are forgetting. One, niggas is intoxicated too in that whole situation.
Hell yeah.
Him and Rihanna were intoxicated.
One more time.
So for the nigga to be thinking, I don't know where that came from. She wasn't even thinking, so.
Yeah, and listen.
When do we hold women accountable?
And listen,
Here's another thing too, though. Here's another thing too, for dogs. No lie, like you gotta do your due diligence to seeing what type of woman you dealing with in the first place. I've never had a woman lay their hands on me, and I can forecast the type of woman that'll try to lay hands on me, and I don't tolerate that. If I see any type of inkling of raunchiness in you that you may try to, do some. It's done. We not because I come out with the arguing.
Shit, nigga. You're not fucking Rihanna, nigga. You're talking about regular bitches.
See that same little thing that was in Barbados talking about part replay?
But you talking about regular female. Now we talking about a lady that gets this.
Fuck them animals.
You ain't about this like, oh nigga, I'm about to nigga, she's about that too. So I get what you're saying. I get that. But again, we're talking about a whole nother lifestyle of people that we don't even know.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
So she's not like the average female, like, check out, we do our research. She ain't one of those, B. She's thinking like, nigga, I'm Rihanna. What the fuck you doing? I just said something to you, son. He looking at it like, nigga, I'm Chris Brown. We both popular, nigga.
That brings it back to two things though. Ego, right? Yeah. Like he just said, she's Chris Brown, he's Rihanna. He's him, he's him. You gotta pick the ego first, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be like, okay, I'm gonna use my good guy ego, I'm gonna use my macho Superman ego. And he is Chris Brown. Yeah. And he did what he had to do. Fab is Fab. You know what I'm saying? He did what he wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So he took his ego and he brought it to another level. And it upset me a lot too. But I'm not a big Fab rocker. I didn't love all his music. But like you said, he's that nigga. You know, 100%. And he let us down. Just put it like that.
Well, I need to, before I say he let us down, I need to know more on the story.
He let us down.
A lot of people got on Chris. Chris lost so much endorsements and stuff like that. But then when we got the whole story, I'm like, well, you gotta kind of like. Yeah, he fucked up her face real bad, but he was defending himself.
Now, since we're talking about Chris Brown and his situation, if Chris Brown never hit Rihanna back, is there such thing as a male being a victim in domestic violence?
Yeah, there's so many males that's victims.
You laugh though. You see, that's the reaction. Chris, hold on. But this is right. You ain't no man. This is the reaction. That's the reaction that I wanted. Cause you know what? If I call the cops and I'll be like, hey, no, you know what? One bitch just beat me down. I got black and blue eyes. I feel like my arm's broken. They gonna be like,
They'll still show up though. They'll still show up and take the all shorty on. They'll haul her on. It's just in the streets. If you go run around talking about, oh, my BM done whoop my ass or something like that, motherfuckers gonna roast you. But that's not a bad move to call the boys before she called the boys, because they gonna take her word off rip. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta come at it, you gotta be proactive and say, yo, listen, man, I'm a man, I'm gonna get the shit end of this stick, man. So let me go ahead and try to mitigate as much as is possible, you know?
Now, listen. I'm gonna keep it a buck with niggas, right? Okay, I would never in my life hit a woman, but I had a woman swing on me before, and I'm sure everybody in this room had a woman probably swing on me
Yeah,
before.
my mom done whooped my ass.
Your moms? Nah, we ain't talking about your moms, dog. Mom dudes get away with that shit. My moms just swung on me.
Yo, listen, dog. Nowadays you can't even beat your own kids, dog.
Well, it's a different time. But what I wanted to say was, we all done probably had someone swing on us, right? Now, I had someone swing on me in my time in life, you know what I'm saying? The way I handled that was she was swinging on, like,
Boo-boo.
yeah. So what I had to do was I had to grab her and restrain her aggressively.
With a lot of love.
Aggressively. I restrained her aggressively, and I had to aggressively hold her, restrain her,
And body slam.
and safely put her down. Safely put her down and run. I literally ran out the house, dog, because it sucks that it's like, as men, we're not gonna be. Well, I can't speak for all men, because there's some bitch ass niggas out here who just hit women because it's Thursday, and there's some bitch ass niggas who hit women because they feel like they can fight women. Y'all are bitches. What I'm saying is, when you at the time when you gotta defend yourself, you can't even do that because one, you're a man. Two, you're black. You just committed 2 crimes without doing shit. You just committed 2 crimes without doing shit. So it's like, yo, my only thing was to run. I'm a victim. Now I gotta run so that I don't be a fucking criminal on books. You know what I'm saying? I say all that to say this, man. I want to hope for the best out of that worst situation. If Fab is a scumbag for hitting her regardless, but
I hope the fucking kids don't take it so hard.
yeah, that's
the
tough
media
too.
could be switching it up, and it could be way less. You know what I'm saying? And right now they're out there watching social media and shit. They're of age. You know what I'm saying? The little man got his own little page and shit like that. So he could be horrified with this shit right now. So and they're watching all the memes come up now, and their dad's bars sound different now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That call me Ike Turner because I beat her in the car. You know what I mean? That shit sound fucked up to me.
It's like that whole situation sucks. Like shit. I just don't want to wake up and fucking have to read no shit about that, especially from a nigga like Fab, who's supposed to be the coolest of coolest people. But you know, if it happened, fuck it, we lost another one.
Where does assault start and where does overdoing defending yourself against an assault?
Exactly. Right. Yeah, they gotta be clear laws.
Starting out from the beginning, from Chris Brown to, I mean, did she assault him? Did he assault her first? Like, where does it go? Where do you go from the defense point of that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, facts, man. Alright, man. Next thing on the lineup, before I say anything else, I want to say R.I.P. Steph Clark. Man, like, it sucks when we lose people to, like, street violence or whatever like that. You know, that shit sucks. But when you lose your life just because you wearing a permanent ski mask that I'm wearing, this black skin, that shit hurts even more, you know what I mean? But basically, for those who don't know, if you're sleeping under a motherfucking rock, Steph Clark from Sacramento, he's in his 20s, had 2 kids. All I know is that basically Stephon Clark was in his grandmother's yard and got shot 20 times by the cops in Sacramento because they mistake his cell phone for a gun. One, if you mistake his cell phone for a gun, how was he shot in his back? So I say all that to say, I do have some questions about that. I do want to say this sincerely. Motherfuck the police across the country. Everybody who said, especially the lady in politics, I don't even know your name, but it was some lady who said that was a local issue. I had to say what I was going to say in my head, and it felt good. I ain't going to say it out loud. But, you know, fuck you too. Fuck everybody who says that's a local issue. Fuck anybody who's in the police force and has lunch with these people who purposely kill innocent black and brown people because of hatred. Fuck y'all. If you ain't gonna say shit, then you just as worse as them. Okay, now let's say this. How can we prevent that shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, are we supposed to take guns from the police? Like, what do we do? What do we do for that shit?
It's an unpreventable situation, honestly. You know, the biggest thing I can tell my brothers and sisters, you know, everyone across the nation, period, black, white, Spanish, whatever it may be, comply. You know, and even when you comply, I guess the last thing you can say is that you did your best to try your best to survive. Because at the end of the day, they want to go harm their family. They don't care if you had a Barbie doll in your hand and they noticed it. If it's shaped like a firearm, they're gonna do what they have to do to go home to little Lisa and little Molly.
Do you honestly believe that they think they see firearms, or is that the known excuse?
I feel that, you know, like I initially said, is their first reaction is to go home.
Yeah.
They don't care. Like I said, they call it what it is, but their first reaction is to go home. And I'm not defending them or anyone that does it, because we know there are dirty cops out there, period, point blank, there are. And just like there's dirty people, right? So a cop's instinct is gonna be, I want to go home to my family. I want to eat my dinner. I want to go home unwounded. I want to protect my partner.
Definitely.
I watched the video and I saw what happened. And I was very discouraged and disappointed in the way the officers acted and the way that they took the situation into care. Because they did not wait, they did not hesitate. Yeah. They proceeded to draw fire on this gentleman, whether they thought it was a gun, a knife, a phone, or whatever it may be. But the gentleman, he ran in the video. And I'm not saying, you know, they're justified for that, but I always tell people, you know, I'm a two-fenced person. I think on the left side of the fence,
you have to.
and I think on the right side of the fence. From Stefan's standpoint, I'm not sure. They didn't have a body camera on him. He didn't have a camera, but I'm pretty sure he ran for a reason. Was it because he had a gun? Because he had drugs? Because he was in with the law? I don't know. I don't know him. But I know from the officer's perspective, from the video that I saw, was it's nighttime, 11 o'clock at night, probably the beginning or the end of his shift, and he saw an African-American suspect that he was afraid of, period.
To chime in on that and to kind of piggyback a little bit off of what you said as far as you know, that these cats want to get home, I feel like it's a two-pronged factor. One of them is they scary as hell, and the other one is they don't value Black and Latino lives. They don't value the lives in our community. So, for instance, there was a white gentleman, moved into my building, knocked on my door, said, "Hey, I'm from Fall River. I'm trying to become a Boston police officer. Can you sign this character reference letter for me? Da 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 da." I'm like, I don't know this dude from a hole in the wall, but I'm like, you know what, man? Let me see if I can put this dude under the wing and so maybe he halfway decent or something. So I talk to him, you know, I try to figure out what he know about the community, the culture. I'm like, because you're not from out here, you're not from Hyde Park, Mattapan, Dorchester, Grove Hall, you're not out here in the trenches. So you know what? Let's get to know these cats. I talked to him for a half a second. Dude was a clown. Like, dude literally just wanted my information from a black male as a character reference so he could get in. He did not give a rat's ass about protecting or serving our community. So therefore, we need more brothers and sisters in the force. Enough of all this, like, like, we glorifying Future every day talking about codeine. We glorifying Jeezy every day talking about Trap or Die. We glorifying Pimp C for how many chicks he had on the track. Let's glorify brother, because brothers ain't out here taking accountability. If somebody goes ahead and breaks into somebody's grandmother's house, they're not going to go and track that dude down and stomp him out and banish him from the community. People are going to call the police. So until we start policing ourselves, we're going to have to start getting our own in position, because these cats coming from out of town and they're doing whatever the fuck they want.
Exactly, and that's what I was saying. Like, you know, it all stems down to where do we want to stand? You know what I'm saying? Like, do we want to be police officers? Why do they want to be police officers? First off, when you become a police officer, you literally are on probably the third highest tier of the government job, period, right? You know, you're protected by the jury, you're protected by, you know, so many different Medicaid.
The Commonwealth.
Exactly, the Commonwealth of that state. So if we have more African American people that understand the community, understand the people, and same thing for all these other towns, because every police department does things different. I know when you want to become a Boston police officer, you have to live in Boston, but you don't have to be from Boston.
Yeah.
And it's different when you go to a town and you're like, "Hey neighbor, how you doing?" versus "What's going on, cuz? How you doing today, man? You having a good day?" And then you're in a new environment it's like throwing a baby gazelle into a pack of wolves.
Yeah. Just chilling.
Yeah, okay, so I want to bring it back because I think Chris brought up a good point about them just being afraid of like I was listening to this clip on YouTube earlier today. It was funny as fuck. It was Ari Spears. He had a little skit saying white people did a tremendous job at making the African American seem like he's a scary person. And this is what I always say. I compare, before I even say this, anybody in this room, anybody in the barbershop ever got bitten by a mouse or a rat? Nobody, I haven't, but anybody who ever got bitten by a mouse or a rat, raise your hand. Nobody, right? Okay, this is how I look at it. Mice and rats are the African Americans. Squirrels are the white people. So they're both rodents at the end of the day. The rat and the squirrel are rodents. Only thing that separates them is the way they look. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has, it's not like you go out every day and be like, yo, there was a squirrel attack. And it's not every day you be like, yo, there was a rat attack. But your reactions to the rat and the squirrel are completely different. If you was walking down the street and you saw a rat run across your foot, you go, oh, what the fuck, damn, what the fuck? But if it's a squirrel, you go, oh shit, that shit's so cute, whatever. The squirrel is more acceptable. You know what I'm saying? Now, in your house, the comfort of your own home, you see a rat or a mouse, you're gonna fucking try to kill that shit. You see a squirrel, you're gonna close the door and call animal care or whatever. Hey, there's a squirrel in my house, can you please come get it out of here? You know what I'm saying? It's a whole completely different thing in your mind. So when it comes to us African Americans, when you see a black person, you know what I'm saying, and he runs away from you, like you said, he had a reason to run. He probably had drugs or anything on him like that. There's still no justification for that man dying. So especially to get shot in the back. So I say that to say this, to the police and to these racist people, they look at us as rats. If they was to kill us, the global reaction to that is, well, shit, he might have done something fucked up, whatever, he's a rat. Now, if that shit was the same exact thing happened to a white person who was in his 20s with 2 kids, you see that march that happened with all those students marching for guns? All those people who participated, that's exactly what would happen if that person wasn't black. Because the global reaction would be different. Because that's a squirrel going down. That's an innocent life. That matters. The fluffy tail and everything. It's not a rat. If it's a rat that gets killed, so fucking what? There's a bunch of rats. We gotta get all of them fucking dead anyways. But what the fuck rats ever done to us? Rats and squirrels are fucking rodents. They both in the same family. Only thing that changes them is they look different. So it's in our minds the way we think. And right now, we gotta get ourselves, well, we never gonna get ourselves out of the rat category, but reason why we are getting unjustifiably killed is because we're the rats of this nation.
We had to show them that we are the squirrels.
We trying.
You know, the best thing I always tell everyone, you know, we got to show them that we're not the future, the 2 Chainz, the freaking 21 Savage. You know?
I agree with that.
And the main thing, it's fucked up. It's image. You know.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Everyone if a normally.
Right, but then and to piggyback off that, the problem is that you got the squirrels promoting the 2 Chainz, and I'm gonna take it even to light skinned Latin brother, the Tekashi 6ix9ine, like look at you know what I'm saying, and so forth, like, so it's like, how do we go above that?
Alright, real quick, back to the rat and squirrel thing. I kind of liked it a little bit, but if we still acting like rats, we're always gonna be looked at like rats. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying.
Oh, go ahead.
If we're gonna be looked at like rats. You know what I'm saying? Back to what he was just trying to say.
What is different from a rat and a squirrel? Before you continue,
a rat and a squirrel?
How do you act like a rat?
On the animal life, alright. On the animal life, rats eat trash, bro. You know what I'm saying? Rats are in the trashes. Trees are in the squirrel. Squirrels are in the trees eating acorns, bro. Okay. You know what I'm saying? When you break it down a little bit.
Okay.
And I like the analogy a little bit, but
I love that analogy.
But it's because I'm not trying to say blacks are acting like that, bro. But we need to stop acting like rats if we want to prosper, if we want to look forward, if we want to move forward. You know what I'm saying? We gotta stop eating trash. eat cleaner. You know what I'm saying? Start doing some fucking workouts. Do some gun get some gun knowledge. Be clean. You know what I'm saying? Cause I was just about to ask him, what was it that this is a good question for you, real quick. What was it that made you want to go legit with the guns? You know what I'm saying? Because in my mind right now, I'm never gonna comply and go with the legit side and get a license because I just don't want the government knowing that I have one. I'd rather have one that's not even accounted for on the low with no serial numbers, nigga. So that, because I'm protecting myself from tyranny as well. You know what I'm saying? From them niggas. You know what I'm saying? From the cops and shit, from the government. If they know that I'm licensed and I got 6 this and I got a list of all that shit, that's bad, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to protect myself from my neighbors so much because my neighbors are cool. I'm an awesome guy. The problem, right, to me in my eyes is the government, the higher up, because they're the ones poisoning us with ugly food, fucking us up with laws, niggas, to make us really just hate each other. You know what I'm saying? What I'm just trying to do is just try to isolate myself, get the fuck out, and live my little quiet life with a shotty. You know what I'm saying? Anybody come close to me and my family, get the fuck back. I'm lifting weights and eating the shit that I'm growing. You know what I'm saying?
So here's the thing. This is what I don't want people to take from what you just said. When you said we gotta stop eating like rats. Because first off, if we want to talk about like the way we eat in real life, like the squirrels taught us to eat like this. We live in a nation where we eat the junk food that our ancestors was giving, the scraps and shit. Right. So if we want to take it from that aspect, but we got to take it from this too. Also, when I say rats and squirrels, when a police officer pulls you over, you know what I'm saying? If you're an African American, they look at you as a rat anyways. They can't judge if you're a squirrel or not because how do they know? If me right now, I'm a motherfucking fund accountant. I work for a Fortune 500 company, you know what I'm saying? But if I was to get pulled over right now, I look like a rat. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, before you say anything. What can I do to make me eat like a squirrel like you're saying? Because you gotta understand it like this. It don't matter what we do. That person, Steph Clark, could have worked at my job. You know what I'm saying? I could have been Steph Clark. I could have been Mike Brown. These people aren't looking to see, is that a mouse, is that a rat or a squirrel that I'm shooting at? No. They're looking at a rat.
And that's kind of my problem with the city life. You know what I mean? Because that's always it's a problem that you can't fix with the city life. We have to comply in order to fucking stay alive. You know what I mean? Bro, I want to fucking we should spread out. You know what I mean? Overpopulation is a myth. There's plenty of fucking room for us to go pick a spot in the fucking woods and fall back. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to be hit. You know what I'm saying?
The biggest terrorist to our situation as African Americans, Spaniards, whatever it may be, is our music society, our fashion, our clothing, our attitude, and our demeanor. When you say rat and when you say squirrel, you immediately think rat, sewer dweller, night crawler, bottom of the litter. When you think squirrel, you think fluffy tail, trees, acorn, foraging for their family, hiding, doing what they need to do to survive. If we just take, and it's honestly, to me, it's not going to happen, period. Not in this lifetime until the world resets. Because I'm 28 years old and I've grown up around the thuggest of the thuggest. Like I'm talking about my uncle's a Crip, my aunt's a Crip, and I've grown up against the preppiest of the preppiest. Went to school with the highest ranking kids that you ever meet, smartest motherfuckers. And I've gone to school with the dumbest motherfuckers. And the biggest thing that always separates these two people is the visual. When a cop pulls over, or even when you walk down the street, period, right? Me and my friends, we're all like 6'2", 300 pounds, freaking massive dudes. We go out, we wearing Gucci, we're wearing LV, we're wearing whatever we want to wear. We're wearing chains, tatted up all over our arms, and then we go out, we have a good time. A white person or whoever may be like, yo, those dudes sell drugs. Immediately.
And they intimidated on top of that.
They look at us and they say, those dudes sell drugs. How do they have all that money? They're African American. Why do they think that? Because every tattooed, LV, chained African American, other African American might sell drugs.
The thing is too,
if we take away, like you said, oh, I don't want to have a license because I want to stay under the radar, right? But if you add the license to your life, it takes away that demeanor that African Americans have illegal firearms.
I agree with that.
It takes away that African Americans have guns that they want to hide, because the first thing someone thinks as soon as you say that is he wants guns to murder people so he can get away with it. Because that's what people with scratched off serial numbers do, right?
Yeah.
They murder people that are in gangs so they can get away with it. But law-abiding citizens that have licenses like myself know that if I'm killing anyone, it's to defend myself the proper way. I'm not in any gang.
Real quick, just to defend myself. I'm not trying to kill nobody.
I know you're not. My bad. I didn't mean to throw you under the
like
bus
I
like
said,
that.
trying to go out to the motherfucking woods.
I get what you're saying.
Be by my damn self. When nobody.
The biggest thing.
Keep the serial number on it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not mine. Y'all don't know that I have it, and y'all don't know about my.
But the
booby
biggest
traps.
thing is.
That's what I'm trying. Just, but go ahead. You got a great point though.
I get what you're saying, 100%. And in a perfect world, bro, I would 100% agree with you. As much as I want to register my firearms, don't want to, I still have to comply with the things they want me to because I'm black. Even if, so Rhode Island recently just changed the law where they have to register some of their firearms. Rhode Island had like about 85,000 guns. And all 85,000 in Rhode Island that were sold had to be registered. Out of those 85,000 guns, only 11,000 of them got registered. Do we know why? Because everyone wants to be like you, bro. Everybody wants to be away because they think, okay, the government can see that I have 6 guns. I have this. They think immediately I'm a terrorist. But the first thing I always think to myself is, fuck what they're thinking. Let me do this the right way because I'm black. I have to think twice.